Sometimes I have to work to make this place sacred. People put it back a little different each time, almost as it was. It's lively, vital, important, but it's a thicket. It's easy to leave your chatter up on a hill. To get to the same place in your soul in this building, you have to work.
Plenty of plans here. Several times I went to Brooklyn with my lipstick, and when a queer approached me in the park, I said, "Hey, what's that you say?" There were plenty of queers here. Several times I went to earth dance with my socks. And when a queer approached me in the kitchen, I said, "Hey, do you wanna dance?"
Okay, let's clear the space. Can you get the lights? If we could take 2 rows over here, these books, and once you've put the books down, you can sit on one. And let's sit as fine your sits bones. Notice your spine, and take a deep breath, and clear the space. Let's make a circle here, the books facing the pulpit. Bring one palm to your book and the other to your heart center. Feel the energy space. Let's make 2 piles in front of the piano. And if you can make the spine facing out. Everybody take a book. Maybe you just share. You'll probably have to share 3 or 4. We should share that here. You guys can share. Please rise. Let's open to page 62 and read together.
One of the most valuable services of commercial
Please join in a moment of silence.
I return to the silent places that fill to bursting with people, activity, conversation, and sweat, empty into pine floors and slow growth through the window. I return to the centrality of my spine and breath, to the reminder that even here in the flurry, we breathe. I return to the forest, the figures emerging from trees, the trees hushing into figures, the fields momentarily still, the rapidity of mind-body movement, the slow melt. I return to the warm place where we've greeted each other, recognized ourselves, found a moment to see beyond our outer layers. I return to the four-layered hug. I return to puppy piles that regularly jolt and disquiet me, then gradually fade among the landscape, and I, in the leaves, can locate a slower, gentler touch that respects my wounded places. I return to the soft, unfolding I, and I return to we. I return to differentiation. I return to my abhorrence of tie-dye, to cleanses, to cultural appropriation, and I return to my desire to be less of a jerk and to honor that this is my culture too. I return to the assumption of good intentions. I return to my triggers. I return to the knowledge that there is always so much more here that I want to receive, that there will never be enough, that I will always return wanting more. I return to the place that reminded me that I am from the forest. I return to place, to sight, to senses. I return to the few wild dance parties where my hippie culture and urban booty shake converge, and I finally feel balanced and abandoned. I return to being the brown fear and the astonishment that I'm not the only one. I return, and it's all right just as it is. It's all right to stretch and stress and sleep and grow and return. We will now collect the offerings.
Sometimes my spirituality doesn't get room living here, and sometimes it doesn't leave room for anything else. Everyone comes here from somewhere else. A lot of people leave things here. You don't always find them. So much more going on than I know about. This place holds a lot. I hope no one convinces you that the light shouldn't come through your stairboards, that your dark corners ought to be used for better things, that your mugs could be kept somewhere else. I hope that no one feels embarrassed by the way the red paint on your office ladder is chipping, because I love that. All the space made through the slow erosion of many bodies being here. This place is relentless. A little like being in a railroad car, some people feel distracted. It's different. Maybe there's 20 of us, maybe there's 50 of us, who needs to slide where? And it's so interesting to me that people, you know, how people adjust, finally go from this interior place to, oh, I'm here with all these people, and I need to move here, and the circle needs to connect there. And it's suddenly all, everybody.
Sometimes the space feels
And then we
too
do
tight.
it, and then we link up.
Sometimes I don't think about why I'm here. Sometimes we talk about each other too much. Sometimes 20 is in an afternoon 50 and then 100 for a week. And then those 100 people leave, and there's extra slack in our skin for a little, and I feel disoriented, like in a body not used to the extra flesh, until that skin adjusts its tautness again.
We don't always announce when someone has the quilt. We sometimes know. It's a great joy to see if it's hanging, and it's even better if it isn't there, because then you know it's off doing its healing work. When we blessed it, everyone touched it. Good mojo. Sometimes we don't know when a private person needs to be enveloped. It's out right now.
There's a lot more people here than there was. And there's salvation here. For all the sometime dustbin saints, not from fear of fire and brimstone, but from their sentenced terms of life. Their places as particulars and singulars, and for the wish boiling in their belly cells to find a community of refuge. For, and only for, minutes at a time. I return each year for rest and relaxation.
I return because even the expanse is finite.
I return this favor. My imaginings of period dress and the smell of dusty skirts and horses and grandma's bread-making apron, salivating lumberjack. return to begin again.
I return to a peaceful place.
I return to myself.
I return to there from whence I came time and again after long journeys I thought I was on, back into the folds of safety, warmth, and love, by simply being still and allowing my home to envelop my spirit.
I return my soul to you.
I return because you are here, because I have to, and also just because.
I returned home for the first time, to arms open wide in welcome.
I return to childhood memories of places I love.
I return to our home.
I return to this house with pancakes every 3 years at this rate.
Inside story.
I return to compassion and care.
I return home to my parents as often as I can. I return by the front door.
I return to a place called home every day, a place called this body, my body, our body. I return the spirit of the gift given.
I return home, relieved to be there.
I return to be with my family and friends.
I return to myself, and I allow myself to be with you. I go back to what I think is needed, only to get lost. And then I return to you again until that final stay.
I return some of the beauty of life to the earth that gave it to him.
I return to this land again and again, watch the gradual passage like transparent overtrays. Parallel textual possibilities, not changing so much as deepening. But I don't really know you.